Cambodia's capital, Phnom Penh. The water supply network was damaged by civil war. In 1993, efforts began to deliver safe water to the citizens of this city, which had a non-revenue water rate of over 70% due to water leakage and illegal diversions. Various reforms were carried out to improve water supply facilities and equipment, along with developing human resources and improving the management of the Water Supply Authority. This resulted in a high level of service comparable to Japan, with the non-revenue water rate falling to 6% as of 2008. Spearheading these reforms of the Water Supply Authority was His Excellency Sonn Chan.
To my memory, in 1993, when I've been appointed to be here, the situation of the utility is critical. The utility seemed to be an anarchy institutions, overstaffed, corruptions, nepotisms everywhere. Facing that situations, I start to consider first that we need to change the culture.
With his outstanding leadership, he changed the people working at the Water Supply Authority, changed the organization that is the Water Supply Authority, and changed Phnom Penh's entire water utility. The Miracle of Phnom Penh is still talked about today. We will give an account of the leadership that sustained it. Leadership created the Miracle of Phnom Penh. Main component: leadership and turnaround, change of culture, do or die. His Excellency Sonn Chan was appointed General Director of the Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority in 1993. His first step was to change the mindset of those working in the organization. As of 2025, His Excellency Sovithia is the Deputy General Director of the Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority. A technician at the time, he recounts how he met His Excellency Sonn Chan.
Shortly after joining Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority in 1993, he started to go to meet all employees in person. The first step that he took was that he proclaimed to us all that, if we don't change, we will die. During that time, we often said the word do or die in English.
His Excellency Sonn Chan looks back on those days as follows.
We introduced first the policy of the philosophy of the leadership, the model from the top. It means that the higher the positions you are, the better behavior, the better results you need to show to your subordinate. During my first day, some on my first day in the office in 1993, I find out that there are many of officers. They got water service connection to their home, free of charge, without water meter, and selling water to their neighbor. And they never pay a single sou to Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority. So, what I can do? I think that we need to change the most important, the most powerful people first. So I called him to my office and I told him that you need to stop that. Stopping by, I do not disconnect your connection, because doing that will affect a lot of people around your home as well. In the village, we are beneficial from the water supply to sell to them. So I say, okay, you need to install the water meter from now. And you start to pay the water bill to the utility from now. But he refused. He said, boss, we share. I called him again. I told him that you have 3 days to make decision. If we fail to get any agreements, your case will be on the top of the desk of the minister. 2 days later, he came to my office and he surrendered. He said, okay, I agree to install the water meter and start to pay the water bill for the water supply. 1 day later, we call and make a big meeting with every officers of water utility. I told to the meeting that I know that many of you have such kind of illegal services. I give you totally 1 week to report to me that you have this kind of service, this kind of water supply connections. And you're willing to do the same way of the ex-former director. But if someone fails to report on times, you will be faced a very severe penalty. Yeah, because of the model from the top, model from the former director, everyone report. And we start to install the water meter on their connections, and everyone pay the water bill. That is to show the model from the top.
Leadership and turnaround. Superiority in 3 H's.
Second, we introduce the accountability by telling to our people that all of us are here to serve the people, not to be here for the personal benefit. So we need to sacrifice in order to achieve our goals in providing safe, reliable, and affordable water to everyone of Phnom Penh. In order to implement our visions, we need a group of people, a group of staff that dedicated their effort, their times, their wisdoms to the results, to the efficiency of the utility that we call the task force. The task force. I would start to say that for me, I consider that people, everyone, every officers, every employee, every staff, every leaders need to have the quality of 3 H. The first H is for head. Head is represent the knowledge. The better head is mean that the person who have high knowledge, skillful, The second age is the heart. The people have a skill, is skillful, need also a good heart. It means that to use your knowledge, to use your skill for the benefit of the people, not to destroy the people, not for your personal benefit. The third age is go to the hands, mean that have a good knowledge, a good heart, need to be active, using your hand to work for the utility, work for completion of your dreamings, a better utility, the better water works. And enthusiastic, hardworking, we empower them and send them to the front lines.
Leadership and turnaround. Leadership, ownership of turnaround.
We were providing by our development partners, but with our own ownership spirit. Based on that style of management, we found that we need to increase our revenue. But how we can increase? We could not increase the revenue because of the two main reasons. The first reason is that the water tariff during that times was too low and flat rate as well. What is mean the flat rate? The flat rate is mean that during that times we bill the customers by counting the number of the family using that water. Only we charge 50 liters of water per capita per person. It means that if the family has 10 people, we will charge them 500 liters of water a day. And by that times, it was only 300 real per cubic meter of water, which is very, very much lower than the water costs, the production costs. But you know well that it's not easy to change the water tariff. It needs times and witnesses. That's only the way we hope that we could convince the leaders of the country to accept, to endorse the water tariff. But immediately we could not make it. The situation still 1993 was like that. But I remember that we could only change it by the end of 1996. It takes 3 years. So what? The second point is the water losses.
Component A, combat against water loss. Providing a safe and stable water supply to the citizens of Phnom Penh. To achieve this, the Water Supply Authority's finances must be consolidated. A major barrier to this was the water loss. There was widespread leakage from the supply network devastated by the civil war as well as water theft through illegal connections. The percentage of so-called non-revenue water, where regular fees are not charged or collected, amounted to over 70% in 1993. According to His Excellency X. Sonn Chan, the reforms and rebuilding of the Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority was, so to speak, a battle against this water loss.
I would say that as the leader of the water utility, I know that there are two tendencies for the managers, for the leaders, in terms of changing the water losses. One is that to increase the water tariff. That is the most simple. The procedure seems to be simple, but most of the country, developing or developed country, changing the water tariff, increasing the water tariff is not easy. And for Cambodia during that time seemed to be impossible. So the way is only to accept the second point, which is much more complicated, harder, and need a long time. That was the cutting losses, reducing the water losses, reducing the non-revenue of water. In grosso modo, I would say that during my times, we implement totally 9 schemes in order to reduce the water losses. Those 9 schemes are: first, effective leakage repair. Since the supply network is quite old, aging more than 50 years with cast iron pipe, the leaks is uncountable. I would say that uncountable. So the first move is to set up the leakage repair teams, stand by for 24/7, and intervene immediately to repair the water leakage immediately as soon as they can. Second, due to the history of Cambodia, where the water utility was transferred into many different tutelages during the times, the customer base are much more out of date. So we consider that we need to update the customer base. We found that before the update, they have around 50% of the customer recorded were never been supply water. It means that they have no water connection, and also about half 50% of the customer base recorded. There are 50% of the customer where they receive the water but never been recorded. So they never receive any water bill. After 1 year of update that customer base, I still remember that the end of the day, the number was 26,881 customers were totally real customers. So the collection ratio on the water bill immediately increased. Now we know who are our customers. So before that, you know that only less than 10% of the 26,881 customers, the service connection of those were metered. Less than 10% were metered. So estimated. So once, before we revise the water tariff, we need to install the water meter in order to record correctly the volumes of water they consume. We start to install the water connections along the service connections, and we spent totally almost 5 years to complete the customer base of around 40,000 customers. And that also made a big move in reducing the water losses. Like many of studies show that in developing country, the water losses by what they call commercial losses are quite high, even about the same amount of the water leakage. So fighting against illegal connection is one of the very important schemes as well. We start and we provide penalty without fear immediately, and we provide also bonus to the people who can provide information, who lead to fight the real illegal connections. That service, that scheme also make a very, very hard, difficult. I think that is quite difficult because we face too many of customers who are unhappy. And even during a time, I remember that one of the newspaper, many of the local newspaper, they start to fight against me. And many times my ugly face show on the front page of those newspapers. But gradually and slowly, those voice getting quiet. And the number 5, we standardize the service connection. I just want to send a message to all our colleagues to know that according to my record, the leakage in the network, supply network, it occurs at the service connections 70 or 80%. 70 to 80 connections actually. So standardize the service connection in order to reduce the leakage at that point make also a very important sense. Then during that times, even before that, we gradually replaced the supply networks. That was number 6. We consider as a scheme, but I would like to say that actually we start replace the supply network since the 1994. Those started by the project during the what they call the emergency project provided by the grant from the government of Japan through JICA. Number 7, we start leakage investigation scheme. Normally you know that for the water supply services, the leakage happenings could be divided in two times. The first time is that you can see the leaks, what they can see the leakage, the water flow, and make on the road you can see the water source, the leakage. But there are another points, another kind of leakage, which happening under the ground. You cannot see. There are also, I remember that there is one times a supply network of 90 millimeter diameter just in front of the mayor of Phnom Penh said that it means that in front of the municipality of Phnom Penh, currently in Phnom Penh, was broken, completely broken. But nobody knows. We know that there is a leak somewhere, but we cannot find because the water was flowed through the drainage and it flowed into the river. Even the expert provided by UNDP could not make it, could not find. And it takes quite a long time. Remember, at least around 3 to 4 years until the day we find. That is what they call the leakage, unseen leakage. So by using the investigations materials, equipments like what they call the listening bar, we could, our people, learning from the international expert, supported by the World Bank during that times. After around 1 year of on-the-job trainings, they get quite high ability to fight the water leaks under the ground where we could not see. And that is very important when we start the DMA programs, district metering area. The DMA programs, for some people, they are thinking that whenever you have the DMA, you are able to reduce the water loss tremendously. Easy. No, that's not true. District metering area is just programs that could provide you the suspected area where they have leakage or abnormal use of water. Just to tell you suspected area where they have such a problems. You need the people to go there. You need to send the team to go there and spend their times, especially during the night, to find where are the leakage. In order to motivate the people, in order to implement our policy by saying that hardworking, better resource, get rewarded, get bonus. We start the last scheme, what they call internal service contract. I learned this technique from a seminar in Malaysia, provided by the consultants, where they are keen to sign the service contract with many other utility who are looking for reducing the water losses. But because we are too poor during that time, we have no money, too poor. That's why we learn and come after coming back. I discuss internally with our people and we implement ourselves. We sign between the management of Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority with the team that carry out the investigation of those leakage. And that is probably the most important move or scheme that bring the water losses into the lowest point. And it stay for quite a long time. That is talking about cutting losses, the way to come out from financially bankrupted to an organizations who are able to self-financing in some extent.
Component B, benefit of learning from, sharing with other utilities. His Excellency Ek Sonn Chan states that he utilized what he learned abroad to rebuild the Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority. He asserts that better results can be achieved by sharing and learning from each country's experiences.
Another point, what I want to mention here, is that how we learn from the peers. I remember that even in the very beginning time of my of the turnaround of Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority, with the support from UNDP, we go around the region to learn. We went to Vietnam, we went to Laos, we went to MWA, we went to Malaysia to learn how they manage the water utility. And especially we learn how they reduce the water losses. Yes, it's beneficial for us. We know how the world, how our neighbor manage the water works. But actually, after a while, especially during these times, I found that there is a new model that probably much more efficient, much more reflect the ownership of water utility, is that not completely free. The assistance from the mentor is not 100% free like water operator partnership programs. The recipients of that program could probably pay part of the investment cost, and the mentor will bear a certain percentage of the investment cost. But especially must based on the results, based on the benchmark between the beginnings of the programs and at the end of the program as well. We call that one something like pay partly whatever you save. It means that before the programs, you have set up the benchmark to say that how much were the losses, how much would your water cost, how much your supply cost of water. That after the programs, you compare that how much you improve, reduce the water losses, reduce the production cost, reduce the supply cost, and then you make the profit from there. That a margin of profit. The profit, you can use that income from the profit to pay partly of the cost or full cost. It's up to your agreements actually. And for me, I think that is probably the most one of the programs should be studied, should be considered, because you have the responsibility to pay, and then you need to work hard in order to keep the operation efficient for you to be able to repay the cost. That is probably, I take the times to present to you a very short presentations during the works of over than almost about 20 years for the turnaround of Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority. Thank you.
Component C, Leadership, Followership. What sort of leadership did His Excellency Ek Sonn Chan provide to prompt the Miracle of Phnom Penh? We asked people who used to work for His Excellency Ek Sonn Chan. As of 2025, His Excellency Long Naro is the General Director of the Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority.
For me, for him is one of the best leader. Why I say like that? Because for him, after he trusts our team, he will give a responsibility to the team to work. That is the most good of the leader. Because the leader take only responsibility when the problem come. If there is no problem, so they let our team, they let our leader under him to work by their own responsibility. So therefore, everybody on each department have a freedom to work and just report where is the problem to him. Then he will solve the problem based what he listen from our team. He won out the best communication. Why I say he's a good best communication? Because he have been make a dialogue, a lot of dialogue to the government, to the politician, to understand how difficult we are, how they can help us to improve the water supply system. So sometimes it's very difficult to find a leader that have a very good, what they call negotiation tactic to work with the politician. But however, he have been negotiate, he will been protect to the people that report to him with some problem to the people have illegal connection to our system. A good dialogue, discuss very clear, and commit to the developing partner to believe him that can support for the improvement of Phnom Penh water supply. In general, I think that he won out the effectiveness and efficiency leadership to Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority.
Mr. Lin had been the director of the commercial department.
As a leader, His Excellency Ek Sonn Chan has clear and proper principles which make all of us voluntarily follow those principles of his. Practically, His Excellency Ek Sonn Chan has led our organization to create what we call SOP. Now we have SOP for all kinds of work. At the same time, we have educated all employees to fully understand and correctly apply SOP in their work. Every employee is focusing on the common interest for Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority rather than private interest. Besides, we are also applying the principle of reward and punishment. We praise and encourage those who are active and perform excellently in work, and provide them with rewards. On the other hand, those who are inactive in work or do not follow the principles or the internal rules of the organization will be punished. We apply this principle to all employees equally, with no partisanship and no exceptions. Therefore, all levels of employees are following the principles of the organization firmly and properly. He is virtuous and has a clear justice. So, we believe in his leadership.
As of 2025, His Excellency Sovithia serves as the Deputy General Director of the Phnom Penh Water Supply Authority.
I felt enthusiastic to grow when he said that engineers must keep learning. Never think that you have learned enough so far. We need many of you who are full of knowledge in order to make a change in our organization. Hearing this, I hope that one day I might get a chance to learn more knowledge and also to learn about his leadership, which can apply to strengthen our work. His Excellency Ek Sonn Chan sent 3 of us, including His Excellency Long Naro, His Excellency Rose Kim Liang, and I, Samrat Savisha, to a school called the Economics and Finance Institute of the Ministry of Finance. After I graduated in 2003, I finally understood that His Excellency Ek Sonn Chan's leadership was following what was described in the theory that I had learned. Theoretically, there were 12 modules in the MBA that I learned. Leadership, organization effectiveness, human resource management, and marketing. Among all of those modules, I analyzed that he had started from making a change by creating a vision for each employee to know his own duty and the organization structure. As the chief of the planning department, I got a chance to lead a small unit. And we could see what kind of human resources that our organization needed. We made a request to him to recruit good people to join us. And for our employees to grow, we trained them, we shared many information with them, and we had achieved many projects together with complete honesty. For all the projects that we worked with foreign organizations such as the project of Asian Development Bank, the project of the World Bank, the project of JICA, the projects from France, etc., we could complete all of those projects as planned, and we were praised for that. So, we can see that a good leadership could motivate our whole organization in implementing all the projects efficiently, with good quality, good results, and suitable water price. Nowadays, we can keep our water price stable and affordable for people. We can supply clean water with 24-hour service, and our water is drinkable. The structure in our work is that management level shows its vision and provides a plan to us, then we at the department level will try to implement that plan with responsibility to make it a success. He used to say that if you want to buy a pipe, try to find a pipe with good quality and suitable price. Otherwise, your project cannot be sustainable. And most importantly, you must do the project with honesty. His Excellency Ek Sonn Chan has retired, but all of our employees still keep the same mindset and continue this work culture of PPWSA until these days.